One of the things that Dallas does better than most any other show in the history of television is take a metaphor and just beat you over the head with it until you submit. In this case, J.R. Ewing, the Iago-esque viper we all know and love, actually uses his own mother as a Trojan horse.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Today we're looking at Showdown at San Angelo, an episode that marks a significant turning point in the series, not just for the plot, but for the very fabric of the show's reality. We open with Miss Ellie returning to Dallas without Jock, as the writers waffle on exactly what to do about the death of Jim Davis. Upon arriving at the airport, she explains that Jock has been recruited by the State Department to head down to South America and help them extract their copious oil reserves. Huh, the United States government engaging oilmen to tap the reserves of a South American country? How far-fetched. That just wouldn't happen, wacky Dallas writers. You're all dreaming. Again.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars.
JR is upset that Jock wasn't with her, probably in part because his son, John Ross, is still holed up at the Southern Cross Ranch with Suellen. And this is where we see the cracks in JR's armor. Without his daddy to back him up, he's flailing. He's hired Harry McSween to scope out the Southern Cross, but McSween comes back with his tail between his legs. Turns out the Southern Cross is a fortress. It's the bizarro world South Fork. The Farlows have their own security, their own men, and they run San Angelo the same way that the Ewings run Braddock. It's the first time JR has run up against a wall that his money and influence can't just bulldoze through. It's a clash of competing patriarchies. JR is used to being the loudest dog in the yard, but Clayton Farlow is a sheepdog who doesn't need to bark. McSween tells JR that it would take an army to get the boy back. And that's when JR gets a glint in his eye.
Maybe not an army. Maybe a Trojan horse.
I don't know what's tougher, my job or this new Chevy pickup. Hauls a lot of payload, helps smooth out those country roads. And you can't buy a V8-powered car or truck with better gas mileage ratings. But after a long, hard day...
Hey, cowboy.
This dude's ready to play. And I play just as hard as I work. Woo! The new Chevy pickup, full riding tough.
Chevy trucks, built tough, built for economy.
Meanwhile, down in San Angelo, Suellen is having a heart-to-heart with Dusty Farlow. She's grieving her sister Kristen, but she's also dealing with the fact that her new haven isn't exactly the honeymoon suite she always thought it would be. There's some complex emotion that I wish they would have dealt with here. Yes, Kristen was an awful person who backstabbed Suellen and blackmailed anyone with more than a Stuckey's gift certificate to their name. But still, that's her sister. And as we heard in Gone But Not Forgotten, Suellen laid most of the blame at the feet of their mother. That's heavy stuff for a Friday night in 1981. Meanwhile, in the B-plots, because we have an hour to fill, we catch up with the sad sack of the series, Cliff Barnes. He's moping around, threatening to leave Dallas because the mean old Ewings just won't let him win. He's like a toddler, except instead of taking the ball and going home, he's taking the ball and leaving home. But his guilt-ridden mommy comes to the rescue. Rebecca Wentworth, who is proving to be a formidable player in her own right, basically buys Cliff a career. She fires the trustees of Wentworth Tool and Die and installs Cliff as the president. It's hilarious to watch Cliff's mood swing from suicidal depression to arrogant tycoon in the span of a single lunch meeting. Cliff, never change. You're the Charlie Brown of oil tycoons. And the bigger the football you think you're going to kick, the funnier it is when it gets pulled out of the way. Then we have Mitch and Lucy. Mitch is still drowning in the demands of his medical studies, trying to navigate his broken marriage with Lucy. These scenes are just pot boilers at this point, adding nothing new. We're just reminding you that these characters exist and that this is a problem that they continue to have. To this day, I have no idea why they didn't just port Mitch and Lucy over to Knots Landing, because Abby Cunningham getting her hooks into both Gary Ewing and his son-in-law would have been deliciously twisted. We also check in with Mitch's sister Afton. At this point, the writers know that they have something with Audrey Landers, but as with the other Cooper, they're just treading water until they can get her set on the path to get there. Right now, she's parked in the supporting sister spot, which is boring, but at least it redeems her character somewhat after continuously siding with JR. But the real emotional weight of the episode, outside of the kidnapping plot, falls on Pam and Bobby. Pam is desperate for a baby. It's becoming her defining characteristic, bordering on obsession. They go to an adoption agency and the reality check is brutal. The waiting list is 18 months to 2 years. For a Ewing, being told to wait is like being told not to knock someone into the pool. It just doesn't compute.
Bobby, you out of your mind? Ah!
Victoria Principal plays devastation well, but you just know this is going to lead to Bobby doing something stupid to make her happy. Because that's what Bobby does. He's the fixer. Even when the things can't be fixed. But let's get back to the main event. The titular showdown. JR decides that since he can't storm the castle, he'll just walk in through the front door. He convinces Miss Ellie that she needs to see her grandson. He plays on her emotions, her loneliness without Jock, and her genuine love for the boy. It's manipulative, it's cruel, it's classic JR. He knows that Suellen won't deny Miss Ellie a visit. So they hop in the Ewing copter and fly down to San Angelo. The arrival at Southern Cross is cinematic. We see the ranch, we see Suellen looking healthy and happy, and we see John Ross running around being a kid. But enter the Silver Fox, Clayton Farlow.
Mrs. Ewing, Clayton Farlow.
Howard Keel always has a kind but commanding presence. He steps onto the screen and instantly commands it. There's a gravitas to him that rivals Jock Ewing. When he meets Miss Ellie, the chemistry is instant, even if the circumstances are tense.
Not the best of circumstances to meet under.
Yeah, understatement of the year, Clayton. JR, of course, ignores the pleasantries and goes straight for the jugular. He tries to bully Suellen, but she's on her own home turf now. Or at least, the turf where she's protected. The tension builds as JR realizes he can't talk his way out of this one. So he tries the nuclear option. While the Farlows are busy trying to figure out how to get JR off their property, JR just grabs the boy and makes a break for it. This is an incredibly tense scene.
Hey, John Ross, take him down. There you go. Good man.
JR is frantic, he's desperate, and this is where the episode earns its stripes. Miss Ellie, the moral compass of the show, the woman who wants nothing more than family unity, stops him.
He may belong on South Fork, but not this way.
It's a line that defines her character. She loves her family, she loves the land, and she wants her grandson home, but she will not sacrifice her integrity to do it. She won't become JR to save the Ewings. It's a punch in the gut for JR, who realizes that his own mother, his Trojan horse, has turned against him because of his lack of morals. The helicopter takes off, leaving a crying Suellen and holding John Ross. JR has lost. And he's lost in a way that humiliates him completely. And we're out. Showdown at San Angelo works because it strips JR of his usual weapons. We see him vulnerable, we see him desperate, and we see just how isolated he is without Jock to hide behind. It also sets up a new world order. The Farlows are here to stay, and they aren't afraid of the Ewings. Suellen has found sanctuary that actually works, at least for now. And the Barnes/Wentworths suddenly have a power-up. And looking forward, this episode plants the seeds for Miss Ellie's future. That meeting with Clayton? That's not just a throwaway moment. That's the beginning of a whole new chapter for South Fork. The writing here is sharp, balancing the melodrama with genuine character beats. We see the contrast between the Ewings and the Farlows, the dinner table scenes being the starkest example. At South Fork, breakfast is a war zone, where JR hurls insults like grenades. At the Southern Cross, it's civilized, it's calm, it's maybe even a little boring. But for Suellen, boring is exactly what the doctor ordered. So we end with JR defeated, Pam heartbroken, and Cliff Barnes inexplicably failing upward. The pieces are moving on the board, and the absence of Jock Ewing is forcing everyone to change their game. JR might be down, but he's never out. And if I know him, he's already hatching a plan that makes the Trojan horse look like child's play.